You're free, and freedom is beautiful. And, you know, it'll take time to restore chaos and order, but we will.
Y'all hear that shit? I'm trying to do this with zit on my nose. So. I tuned it to music made me do it. That's why I tuned it to. Music made me do it. What's up, y'all? Randy Cooper here, man. The Arsonist, man, 40 from Texas Hippie Coalition. Emperors and Elephants, victory season, and here we are with Arson County. So let me, you know, one more time. I'm telling you, man, I'm about to get this sucker. Oh yeah. Toast to y'all, man, and we got a brand new deal here and out here in Colorado Springs, Colorado is going to be home base for us, and we are working on. We've got a stockpile, bunch of new demos that nobody's heard, and we're just fixing to start letting them out. And here we are with. So we've got the band name Arson County. We're going to go with that, and got some questions here to answer. So Randy, how did you get your name, the nickname, the Arsonist? Well, that's easy, man, you know, because first time we took THC to a Dallas show, we played with the band Aska, man, one of my favorite bands. Todd George called one of my favorite people I ever met in the industry. And get done, I snuck one in on him because I had my Screaming Jesus Golgotha band. Screaming Jesus, it's like Judas Priest Screaming Jesus, is what I call it, because it was killer. And you ought to look that up, Golgotha. Alright, so I snuck one in because we were booked at O'Reilly's with Aska, and but we had just cracked open THC and started some writing some songs, and flipped the script, man. Instead of Golgotha showing up, I just brought us down. I didn't tell George, and then we took a stage, and he, you know, came off stage like, holy shit, where in the fuck did you guys come from? And because we were, you know, badass. And that's when we was original, man, no imitation, you know, there. So anyway, he named it, you know, he's like, dude, you play the guitar with fire. And man, you know, just, he's like, everything you touch, man, turns on fire. So that night, you know, of course, he's like, well, I said, you know, who's your favorite band? I said, Judas Priest. He goes, you're up, man. You jumping in and playing, you know, some tunes with us. So I played some Priest with him that night. And that night, walked out of there, man, labeled as the Arsonist, man. And it stuck this whole time, you know. So that all the way to Arson County. Because there's a lot of fires up here in Colorado. But that's what we're rolling with. And we are fixing to get y'all familiar with that. And so the Arsonist, man, you know, that's stuck right there. You know, like it, trademark it, and rolling with it. Alright. So where I come from, man, I come from right where I dropped through on the way here to Kansas City, man, leaving Lake Texoma, Pottsboro, and there, you know, with all this THC around me, man, you'd wonder why that Yeah, I do live in Pottsboro, Texas, you know. But I couldn't wait to get to Kansas City and get up here to the backstage grass, baby. You know, green label bottles right there. All right, so born and raised Dumas, Texas, man. And, you know, that's where, man, I woke up every day to Iron Man, you know. And I think that planted the seed, man, on wanting to be you know, a guitarist, man, of that, man. I just was, you know, just in tune by it, fascinated, man. And got a guitar about 3rd grade, and that got me moving to Denison, Texas. Got an electric about 7th grade, and got up there to Denison, Texas, man, where I didn't know anybody, but my one buddy, Brian McClinsky, and man, that was it, man. I just, in that summer, I learned how to play guitar, man, because I seen the baddest cat on my block, right in my hometown, right down the road, Dimebag. Pantera came, and I got introduced to them, and when I seen a guy a year older than me play like that, Randy Rhoads just got killed. I just moved here, just got through seeing him, and bummed out, man. But here, when I've seen Pantera, that changed the game right there. That, wow, this dude's my age, you know, like, and I got a long ways to go. So, man, it started right then, man, that it can be done, and watching that, you know, watch it go. You know what I mean? So, man, that just turned into it can be done, and an endless pursuit of trying to get there, and finding a band that could back that up and be as badass as they were, and shit like that, man. So that raised the bar, setting it up on the pedestal. Just got to town, and MTV, Dokken just broke on MTV and didn't have it when I moved here, but I was already familiar with Dokken, and I drove by the Electric Company Phase 2. And if you open up your Cowboys from Hell album, right at the credits, at the first thing says Bird Jennings, thank you, Electric Company Phase 2. So I drove by there with the Dokken name up there, and then Pantera opening. Too young to get in, sit outside the venue and watched them, listen to them. And I met them out in the parking lot, followed Dokken's bus over to Jack in the Box, and met Pantera out in the parking lot, bought an album, man, and that ended up being Eye in the Night, one of my all-time favorite albums ever, man. And you know, I mean, that I could listen to every song on that and tell you where I was at that moment, that it, you know, because, and it pulls, you know, it pulled me through good times, bad times, and everything in between, and that's how I approach writing a song, man. I want to touch somebody, lift them up, pull them up positively, and you know, put them in a place that, man, if they're having, you know, it's the worst time and you're having a bad time about to jump, man, maybe you hear one of these tracks, and man, it'll lift you up and keep you carrying on, keep on keeping on. You know,
I didn't know if you wanted to.
that show out in the parking lot, not knowing a soul, standing out there. There was about 20 people out there, man, that was just partying and you know, too young to get in. And I met my first band. I just lived in town a couple weeks, and I met Scotty Ray, Sean Fools, Brian Bentley, and John Leisure. And that next day we started Sniper, and you know, hadn't run with that. You know, the next about 3 months later, Pantera came back to town, And I was the guy that showed up, you know, about noon, load in, and I was there like, hey man, can we open for y'all, you know? And lo and behold, Bart Jennings told me to go talk to Vinnie Paul, and he said, absolutely not, Randy Cooper, because you're too young to get in. I said, well, what about this badass motherfucker, Dimebag, which he was Diamond Daryl then. And so he said, go talk to Vince. And you know what Vince said? God dang right, we don't want to play 3 1-hour sets. We want to play 90 minutes straight. And damn right, y'all can play on our gear. And so we did. You know, and what gear we did bring, as soon as we said thank you, good night, it's about a, you know, fucking packed house, over 1,000 people probably. We got whisked right out the freaking side door, right out to the back parking lot. About 30 minutes later, our gear came out, and we went right back where we were at when we met 3 months before that, and started the band and went and listened to Pantera again, you know, because we were too young to get in, you know. You know, by this time, man, I met a bunch of people in town and all this stuff, so done intertwined with every back and forth, every band, back and forth, every member, you know, this and that. And so that led to the endless search to find a guy that would like the way I could play guitar and would drink the Kool-Aid, and the way I could write a song, play guitar, and all that, man. And go out there to check out that first arena show, man, Leonard Skinner. But we just got back, man. We wrote all these songs, did all this stuff, and about a year earlier, finished tracking and tracked the Pride of Texas disc with David Prater. And he flew off to Chile and comes back, you know, to he's gone 11 months, man, and we're sitting idle. Just keep on keeping on, man. Just sharpening the skills, getting these songs road tested, and comes back, man, with the Pride of Texas, turns it over to us, hands everybody a copy. We have a listening party. Strict rules of do not let this out of your sight. Don't let anybody have it or nothing. Play it, you know, let them listen to it, whatever. So everybody got a copy with their name on it, wrote in a Sharpie magic marker. Well, I burned about 5 copies off, and I went to that Choctaw Casino show. And I, you know, I had to answer for it later, but actually I dropped off the ticket to the whole enchilada there to get noticed in there. So I found the guy. I went to the sound booth and said, hey man, if you guys can obviously throw something on like this, surely y'all can help me out, man. And I whisked that fucking disc right over the fucking, over the, you know, little wall they had for the sound booth, and handed that thing over. And about a week later, I got a call back from them, and said, man, this is really good shit, man. Call me next Friday. Well, I called that Friday, and it didn't happen. So the next Friday, I went to see Stringtown State Basketball Championship. They undefeated, went to the state championship, so went down there and watched them. That was it. Some of the players went to my church. I played guitar for Victory of Life Church, DwayneSheriff.org. You got to look that up and, you know, get you a little word if you need it, man. And it changed my life. So I'm playing in Atoka for the praise team and teaching a kid, you know, took me about 6 months, man, getting him up to speed. He's about 14 at the time. And so I got familiar with these Stringtown boys, man, that played basketball in high school, and man, they were like the Harlem Globetrotters, man, and so they was headed to the state championship undefeated. So I went to that game, and because they were running in onto the ring with pissed off and mad about it, so I got to hear it in an arena, and they run out, and they ran off. When they run off the court, they was carrying that trophy. You know, and then I swung by, I researched Brad and Mad and see what was up with them. So I found that they have an office, and walking in that office after that game was, I was obviously in the right place. They had Def Leppard, man. They had pictures of Dio in there with him, man, with the horns up, and we're going to change that, you know, here real soon too. It's going to be more like. So you know, we'll get it. So,
I want people to see the video.
sometimes I just gotta, okay, I'm back. Alright, so, I'm back. Come back in, Ray. Alright, so, went over there, man, and, that was one of, I've been looking for, it took me 23 years to find this guy, man, and I go in this office, and, they've been waiting for about 2 hours, on it. Is that kid still here? Max Baker, to his sister, Dina Baker, and saying, yeah, that kid's still here. I don't think he's leaving, Max. And I was not leaving, so I took, I don't care, man, how many times, I was told no all my life. No, but I wasn't leaving. So, comes out, I meet Max, and Max is like, I know you. Where did I know you from? And he had my flyer on his wall because I handed that over to the booth with the disc that I wasn't supposed to give out. And we listened to it. He goes, I need to tell my partner, the money guy, Brad White. So we go listen to him. And walking into the meeting, the first thing to do is he goes, who's this? Who are you? And what are you here for? Because if you're here for any money, there is none. I said, well, I got good news and bad news, man. I researched y'all, and I found out that y'all are fixing to throw Rocklahoma with Motley fucking Crue headlining, and I want to fucking open. Well, what are you after? I want to open for fucking Motley fucking Crue. That's exactly what I said. And he said, get the fuck out of here. And I said, well, I will, but you're going to have to give my disc back. You can give me $10 for the disc, or you can give it back, and I'm going to go out here and try to sell it to somebody, because I need $10 to get back home and gas, man, because I'm on a one-way trip to talk to y'all, because I found out about Rocklahoma. So, and so Brad once again said, man, get the fuck out of here, and laughing. So anyway, he said, all right, let's hear what you got. And he said, man, I've got 1,000 discs to listen to. And he had this big old striper looking cooler like Mark Thompson, the fishing guide or something, would carry, on his fucking fishing guide boat. And this thing is overflowing onto the floor with CDs. Yeah, probably about 1,000. And, but, walking in there and taking no for an answer, there's a moral of the story, and that's where would not leave, man. I was at the right place, the right time. It was like autopilot, like I was commanded, don't leave, open for Motley Crue, man. I'm telling you, that's what I was after. After 3 times of listening to the Pride of Texas disc, Brad White pulls up in the computer and he said, I'm still filling slots for the retrospect stage. I've almost got all the headliners for that one. But he said, I don't have a headliner for the retrospect stage. Never hearing the band, nothing but hearing the disc, or not seeing us live or nothing. He said, how is that what you're after? And it put me in between headline and retrospect stage, and right after Tesla, right before Motley Crue. And yeah, that's what I'm after. So we broke from the meeting, and I got my $10, and they kept the disc, and I headed back. But when I got outside, Max Baker and Brad White was looking out the window and said, I went across the street, and I kicked that door open, man, and there were 2 people walking in. It was like, God dang it, man. I said, sorry, man. I run across the street, and I said, woo! Super Bowl sign, and I was doing the old fuck around the car walk, and the girl that I had with me, I said, you are not driving, not yet, and so I called up Cowboy and all them, and they was over there. I told them I wouldn't be at practice. I'm going up here to get our disc back, or I am going to get some money for it, or they're going to put us on goddamn Rocklahoma, because I done researched them. And this is Brad White's baby. And so Max Baker told Brad, you better not let this kid get away like he did the Hansons, because a few months earlier they had the Hanson triplets in there, or whatever they are, with their mama, and they did not know what to do with them at 9, 11, and 12 years old. And they were like, wow, that's all, But and then about 3 months later, the next thing they seen was them on the Jay Leno show. And so they're like, wow, we missed the boat on that one. Max Baker said, you better not let this kid get away. And Brad calls me up and says, hey man, go get your band and bring him back up here. I want to meet him. And, so 2 days later, not the next day, but the next, immediately we drive back up to Oklahoma City. And we walk right into California weed and paper in front of every chair. That's a contract that we didn't even read. We just walked right into a you want to? He goes, man, yeah, I just had some paperwork drawn up because I'm a talent buyer. I pass people. If you're coming from the East Coast to the West Coast and you go through Oklahoma and you want to play a casino and you're a badass, I book you. You know, so obviously I was in the right place. But he said, we're talent buyers, booking agents, but we want to manage your band. And you know what we said? After we smoked that California weed, we didn't even read the fucking contract. We just signed away, man. Come on. You know, so there we got management right there. And within that year, we were flying to Europe for the first time, play the Boss Pop Festival, and I'm sitting next to Brad White, and I said, you know, man, out of all them 23 years, man, I mean, it took 23 years to find you, man, and now here I am, like, 11 months later, sitting on a runway, and we're headed to Europe. I mean, like, I said, God, all that was like wasted. He goes, no. I said, I thought, like, is that wasted time? No, man, you would sharpen your skills. So when you take a stage with George Lynch or Kerry King or Dave Mustaine or, you know, anybody, Dimebag, Eddie Van Halen, man, when you walk off that stage, you've been, you know, that's all I trained my whole life to be. Rob Halford's guitar player from Judas Priest, you know, or the Call from Dio or Ozzy or something, you know. And when I finally did get to take a stage with them and play, and I walked by George Lynch, Kerry King, Dave Mustaine, Michael Schenker, they say, hey Randy, how you doing this year? You know what that is? Man, I did everything Motley Crue did but do heroin and make that $1 million bill. But that shit right there is priceless. Woo! It is. I can't, you know, all I can say about that is
The CD Eddie Trunk.
okay. So that led to Rocklahoma, man. So we had a little bit of time to wait for that. And, man, I'm going to go ahead and put this on record because I am that guy that made out with Gretchen Wilson because Brad invites us to go to Country Thunder, Country Fever. I don't know, the same place Rocklahoma was, but this was his baby too. Yeah, and come see what y'all guys are going to be part of, you know, before Rocklahoma even hit. So we roll up there, man, and we call him, and he comes to the gate, and he gives us these badges. And we were there for 3 days, but we only came for the 1 day. But with this pass was free food, free drinks, woohoo, you know, we could put a bar out of business and make a fucking distillery have to fucking redistill and, you know, make some bourbon, whiskey, whatever. And so he had never seen two guys with the same hair walk the hair like we did at a country show, you know. So man, we killed it. And he was overwhelmed with the attention of just walking the hair, what it could bring. And we trained our whole lives for this moment. And man, I mean, we met them all, man. We're showstoppers. Gretchen Wilson was on stage singing Redneck Woman, and man, we stepped out and walked that front row, and we got stopped. Hey man, can I take your picture? In about 2 minutes, we had security all around us. Brad White standing on the side of the stage and said, and Gretchen walk over there and go, hey man, it's my show. I'm playing right now. Could y'all please not be so rude and interrupt my set, you know? And so we, you know, went back to the, you know, off to the side and continued for 3 days taking pictures with everybody. But after Gretchen said, don't think that I did not hand her, went all the way back in town to Pryor, found this yellow rose. Hey man, you know, it might have been plastic, and you know, and you know, if I had to go get one and it wasn't at a store, which I found it at the dollar store, I swear I'd have put it back on that grave after, you know, to the back. All right, so no, I did not go grave robbing. All right, so yellow rose, and I get my moment. There's Gretchen, man. First I seen Trace Atkins, and I said, that swing about a swing. Hey Trace, he turned around and looked, and I went, and you know what he did? With a like he just jacked one over the fence, because he looked like he could swing a bat. All right, so then here's Gretchen, man. Here she comes, boy. And I fucking, like just like Houdini. You ever seen anybody pull a yellow rose out of their sleeve? I didn't have any sleeves on, man. I was a hockey player, sweating. So I had the yellow rose and handing that off to her, and she's like, oh, And I told her I'm a hockey player, Abe, from Texas. But and apologize. Me and Cowboy sincerely apologize to do that to the redneck woman, because they did not know what they were like, what we could do you put us in front of 75,000 people and walk our hair through there. We're a showstopper. We could stop it. We could draw a crowd. We could have security up there and have to remove us from the front row, because we're such fans. We'll burn for you. Burn. All right, so I get my little moment backstage with her after she done played. She's walking through, man. She got a couple girls with her, and man, give her the rose, get to meet her, have a little moment, and man, and so now it was like, man, she smelled good, she looked good, and everything, man. She had a ring around her back pocket that was not like a diamond ring, not a ruby ring. It was a goddamn skull Copenhagen ring, boy. And I said, so when we were saying our goodbye, I was like, man, it's so nice to meet you. I pointed to my cheek, man, and one of her girlfriends said, go ahead, he looks harmless. And when she came in for the cheek kiss, boy, I turned, I smacked that sucker right in the mouth, right on the lips. And she said, you a sneaky boy, you cheated. And she goes, man, and her girlfriend nudged her, man, go ahead and give him a kiss. And she put her finger in her lip, pulled that dip out. I freaking stuck my tongue in her throat, in her mouth, and kissed her, boy. So I made out with the redneck woman. True story. And
That's your Eddie Trunk story.
okay, so then no, I'm getting there, because we may get to Rocklahoma, man, and so now it's our time, and this is the introduction to us, and man, I'm telling you, I met Jason, my drummer from Emperor's, filmed all the Dean guitar stuff, man, all my interviews and all that stuff. Jason Mute, man, Emperor Elephant's drummer extraordinaire, laser engraver, I mean, killer, works for Dean Guitars. Well, Dean Guitars made Rick Emmett a one-off World of Fantasy V. I just haven't had one right here. His is one. I prefer black. I like to call mine Jimi Hendrix. And at the time, man, my girlfriend was calling me and said, hey man, that Dean guitar guy is out there with Rick Emmett, somebody from Triumph's white guitar that they made for him, and he's got to get it to him because he's got to play the one and only show that they did in America in 12, 15 years, and so we go get him, man, and so that's how I met Jason. Brad went out there, well, we take the guitar in, well, Jason gets the all access, I don't care where you're at, you're with us, the pass, and man, he filmed the whole weekend and all that stuff. But Eddie Trunk show, he was there doing the Under the Tent, and we got to meet him and everything like that, man. We made Blabbermouth. We had Rob Halford pulled a CD out of the Eddie Trunk box of Stumping the Trunk, and he just happened to pull out Texas Hippie Coalition, Pride of Texas. Out of all time, my favorite band, Judas Priest. If I could meet anybody, it would be the metal god. And when I did meet him, he said, so, you want to meet the metal god? I said, oh, my fucking life. When he opened up his bus door and said, well, man, you trained your whole life to be my guitar player? Well, I probably need to meet you. Yes, sir, Mr. Halford, you do. So, I'm that guy. I will hump your leg until I get on your bus, man, and then I'm going to sell it. Like,
Did
hey,
you tell the Eddie Trunk story?
Yeah, man. That's how I met Eddie Trunk. So, yeah, Eddie Trunk was there. We did all that. Right? Well,